dive into something juicy today. The quitting mindset. So I was thinking about why quitters quit, especially around this time of the year when we're putting together goals or New Year's resolutions, or we're thinking about what we really want to do in 2025. And it came to mind of how people set all of these goals for the new year, and then you get a few weeks, maybe not even a few weeks into the year, and then they suddenly quit. So I wanted to research, is there some science behind the quitting mindset? So you know the type. It's not about jobs. They're the people that are always at a loss, right? They're always thrown in the towel when it comes to workouts, relationships, hobbies, pretty much everything, right? And I just wanted to figure out, is there a reason why? Is there something in mindset that makes someone think like that? Is it laziness, or is there just something really deeper about it all? So it turns out that there is a method to the madness of quitting. There is science behind all of this. Not shocking, but really exciting to jump into some science-backed reasons why people develop a quitting mindset and why they're so quick to peace out when the going gets rough. So when I was doing this research, there were 10 key science-backed reasons that really stood out. And I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised what was number one on the list. And that was fear, the fear of failure. So quitting is easier than risking failure, right? So psychologists call it self-handicapping, whatever that means. But people quit to protect their ego, right? Because if you never try, you can't fail. But as the saying goes, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So when you don't stand up, when you don't try because you're afraid to fail and you feel like that's your safety zone, you're missing out on so many opportunities, right? The only way to get around this one is to begin to embrace imperfection. Growth happens outside of our comfort zone. And if you are comfortable, then you're totally missing out. And with that, quitters often have unrealistic expectations, I find. So let's talk about that instant gratification bug. We all have it. Many people start something with sky-high expectations and then they quit when reality doesn't meet their fantasy. And studies show that 92% of New Year's resolutions, they fail. Why? Because people expect results overnight. People have big dreams. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do all of these things in 2025. And then they quickly fail. And let that sink in for a minute. 92% of New Year's resolutions fail. Think of all the times that you've been on a diet or you tried eating healthier only to not to lose any weight right away or maybe gain a few pounds, right? Or think about all the times you may have left a job that you thought that you hated and you ended up at a company that was totally toxic and you'd give anything to get your job back. There are some people that think the grass is always greener somewhere else. You know those people. Maybe you're one of them. And if you are, let's continue to watch this video so that we can get you out of that mindset because it's not good. We want you to have opportunities in 2025. So consider celebrating small progress, not perfection. So nothing is perfect. Perfection does not exist. It doesn't. It's so hard to realize that, but we need to get that out of our vocabulary. And even small baby steps can get you to the place where you want to be. And you have to have a purpose. You have to have a purpose. And many quitters quit because they lack this purpose. Have you ever started something and just because it seemed like it was the right thing to do without a deeper why, motivation just crumbles, it falls apart, right? Research from Simon Sinek, he highlights how clear purpose fuels perseverance. That is why it's important to find your why. Your purpose needs to be yours, not someone else's, but yours. It'll keep you grounded when things get rough because things will. Nothing's perfect. Time, life, everything is not perfect. We all have our ups and downs and our ways to success. But when you have a why and you have a purpose and you have that North Star, you have something to chase after. But when you're chasing after somebody else's dreams, you don't. So that's why quitters quit. Quitters also quit because of overwhelm paralysis. So when life gets like a juggling act, or maybe like juggling flaming swords, it's easy to drop the ball. Quitting becomes a survival tactic. And when people feel stretched, when they stretch too thin with their time and commitments, they just decide to quit. A Harvard study found that 80% of workers feel overwhelmed at some point in their careers. I would say 80% of people feel overwhelmed daily, right? That's what I would have thought it would say. But if you are in that state of overwhelm, look at your tasks and see where you can break big tasks up into bite-sized steps. Small wins add up, and they help you focus and they help you build momentum. So keep that in mind if you are quitting because of overwhelm. And quitters quit because they fear judgment as well. So what will people think if I mess up? What will people think of me? Sound familiar? A fear of judgment, it stops so many people in their tracks. Instead of pushing through, they quit to avoid the scrutiny. So if it's a goal that you're working toward, you may want to keep it to yourself and work on it in private. I know that there's so many gurus out there. They're saying you should share your goals, and you should talk to others and have that accountability partner or someone that will call you out. And that's all great if you have someone that will actually do that. The truth is that most people sugarcoat things and they have a lot of judgment. This is what I found personally. You may be different. You might have those people. I didn't have those people. And many people are, they're jealous that you're just trying to do something to improve yourself. I know that sounds like so screwed up, but people get jealous even of people that are at ground zero and at rock bottom and trying to do something to get out of it. It's just really strange and really crazy. But I found more peace and more success in doing it alone until I was dangerous enough to prove myself. So do whatever works for you. But don't feel bad if you need to go it alone. There's many people like me. I had to go it alone. And I'm not sad that I did because I just needed to focus and get out of the noise. It's not worth the negativity that you feel from all of this judgment of others, because who really cares what they think? Most people are too busy worrying about themselves. People are very self-absorbed, right? They don't even notice you, let alone your mistakes. So the key here is you need to keep going. And some quitters quit because of perfectionism. The double-edged sword of high standards, right? Perfectionists, they often quit before finishing because they fear their final product won't measure up. How many of you have been there? I know I've been there many times. Ironically, quitting guarantees it never will happen. And perfectionism, it'll kill more opportunities than failure ever would. Perfect just doesn't exist. It just doesn't. I'm not insinuating a cop-out or being lazy about your actions is the key to success. You do want to put your best foot forward. However, when you get into that mental spiral, that is not healthy. Remember, done is better than perfect. And most of the time, done is perfect. It's your best, most authentic work, but you just can't see it. And quitters quit because of impatience. And I can believe this. I know I get really impatient with all the technology that we have today. It's easy to become impatient. So some call it now or never mindset. But if the results don't show up immediately, many assume that they're over it. It's time to give up. But sometimes it's so fast and like fleeting. When you talk to some people, they're like, yeah, I gave up. And it could be just hours. Maybe it didn't even make it a full day. So it's hilarious of how impatient we all are. But this is so common with our fast-paced swipe right culture, right? Everything on our phones, on our iPads, on our laptops is just immediate. And we think life works like that, and it doesn't. The fact of the matter is that real success takes time. Think of it as planting seeds in your garden, not microwaving popcorn. So, gotta nurture those seeds and help them to grow, right? And quitters, they quit because of external pressure. Sometimes people quit because they feel pushed to fit into someone else's mold. Whether it's parents, friends, or society whispering, this isn't for you, this isn't right for you. The external noise, it drowns out their inner voice. I've met a lot of really, really smart, really academically smart people who have crushed their dreams because they get caught up in that spiral of perfectionism because of all of this pressure. Growing up, they may have had pressure from parents pushing them hard to get straight A's, and a fear of taking their parents' bragging rights away if their grades slipped at all. Like, they're caught up in their parents' drama. And they have always had to prove themselves to someone else. And in the end, they don't take advantage of opportunities in front of them because of all of this pressure. They feel like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want the pressure. So how to get around this is you need to tune out the noise. Stay true to what feels right for you. And this is where it comes back to, you can only pursue your own why, the things that are important to you personally. And sometimes you just have to step away from the people that are giving you the pressure. Even if you do things on your own in private, nobody knows you're doing them. But it's your opportunity to see if you can build success out of something. Quitters also quit because of low self-belief. And I think this stems from a lot of these external pressures that we're feeling. Is, who am I to do this? Like, what do I know that's important? What can I provide that's valuable? Sound familiar? I mean, they talk a lot about imposter syndrome, and it's a common culprit behind this quitting mindset. I don't really love the term imposter syndrome. I feel like it's like a made-up mental illness term. But people don't believe in themselves, I think, because they're comparing and this perfectionism and all of these pressures that they put in their own minds. People doubt their abilities and they assume they're not good enough to succeed, and they totally are. We all are. I really think low self-belief, it stems from all of this worrying and worrying about what does someone else think? It takes so long sometimes in your life. It took me so many years of my life to figure out, who freaking cares? It doesn't matter. They're not thinking about you anyway. And if you are thinking of someone else's judgment and it's pushing the self-belief, start to tell yourself, who are they to make me feel like this? So turn the tables on what the other person, they might be motivated differently. So you want to have an open mind, because we don't want to have a closed mind, because these individuals may be telling us something that's really important that we need to hear, that maybe our egos are too big to hear. But there's a lot of times, there's a lot of judgment and jealousy making us feel and believe that we're very small. So remind yourself of past wins. You are more capable than you think. I know it. And quitters quit because fear of commitment. I think this is a big one. This probably should have been maybe at the top of the list, because commitment equals responsibility. And I find that people don't want to take responsibility for anything. There's so much finger pointing, right? He said this, she said that. Nobody wants to take responsibility. It's a big problem. And for some reason, it's scary for quitters to be able to say, I'm responsible, I did this. This is a big one. They'd rather dip their toes in the water than walk away than dive in fully. And this often leads to a lack of success or very slow progress. So a study from the Pew Research found that over 60% of millennials, they worry about long-term commitments, whether in their careers or in their personal relationships. So that's a lot of you out there that you're worrying for nothing. You are worrying about being committed because you are responsible, but you need to be responsible for something. Otherwise, you're never going to grow. You're never going to have a great marriage. You're never going to have a great relationship. You're never going to have great success because you're too worried about not taking responsibility. That's dumb, right? So the key here is to start small. Commit to a next step, not to the entire journey. So small baby steps once again. And so what's the real takeaway here about quitting? Quitting isn't inherently bad. Quitting is a tool, like money is a tool. Sometimes quitting is a sign of growth. Hello, those toxic situations. Toxic work, toxic spouse. There's a lot of toxicity out there. Sometimes quitting that is a good thing. But other times, it's a reflection of mindset roadblocks. So recognizing these patterns can help you and those around you to stick it out when it really counts. Don't settle for less than success. Don't be scared, persevere, get the fear out of your mind, and just go for it. But get these 10 areas of toxicity, these 10 areas of reason of why people quit, stop them, because you're slowing down your progress and you deserve more in this life. So are you ready to flip the script on quitting this mindset if you have it and thriving in a new direction for 2025? Or have you seen yourself or someone else in many of these reasons and situations? So I would love to know in the comments. Please share. Please don't be afraid to share. I think everyone that watches this video would appreciate listening to other stories and to really understanding, how do we get out of this quitting mindset and how do we thrive? I'd love to hear your stories. So until next time, be positive, be energetic, be thinking about success instead of thinking about how you can fail. And if you found this content valuable, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you all next time.